Yes, guys, welcome back to more GBFC Champions League predictions. We're going to go through today the bracket. We're going to rank the round of 16, quarterfinals, semi-finals, and then eventually we're going to see who I think is going to win the Champions League. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below and subscribe to more GBFC if you are new and haven't already done so. So let's begin with PSV and Arsenal. If you're an Arsenal fan, no disrespect to PSV, but Arsenal are probably licking their lips at this. I think over two legs. I think Arsenal will be difficult to break down. And I think Arsenal are going to go through here. Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid. I was fortunate enough to be at the final. I can't remember what year it was, actually, in Milan, when Atletico and Real Madrid played. Ronaldo in the penalty shootout, scoring the winning penalty for Real Madrid. And Real Madrid just have this special connection with the Champions League. And I think Atletico, as good as Atletico Madrid have been, and Simeone's obviously been there for so long, they've not won the Champions League. I just cannot see anything other than Real Madrid knocking out Atletico Madrid. Paris Saint-Germain versus Liverpool. This is fascinating, this tie, because PSG this season have been absolutely brilliant. They've got an incredibly young team, but they finally seem to have found a balance within that squad after years of underachieving in this competition. They probably faced the informed team in Europe. Liverpool, on the other hand, are they going to be so heavily focused on making sure the Premier League is won? I'm actually going to come back to this one, to be honest, because this is already just proving to be such an exciting bracket. Club Brugge versus Aston Villa. Club Brugge are a good side, but I just think Aston Villa, I've got enough about them to win this one. Benfica and Barcelona. I'm sorry if you're a supporter of Benfica. I doubt you're probably watching the More GBFC channel at this stage in its infancy as a channel, but Barcelona are going to win that. They've been good this season. Borussia Dortmund versus Lille. I actually think this is going to be one of the closest of all of the fixtures that we have got here in the round of 16. I think this is the hardest one to call. And I'm going to make a shout now. Dortmund versus Lille is going to go all the way to penalties, but Borussia Dortmund are going to win in France in the second leg. Bayern Munich versus Bayer Leverkusen. Wow. I've got to reference the season last year from Leverkusen. It was spectacular, but this year, Bayern Munich just seem to have that little bit extra. But I'm not that impressed with Bayern Munich. I watched their game against Celtic, and look, it wasn't the Bayern Munich that Chelsea played in the Champions League final when we flipping won it in 2012. And part of me really thinks that there's a shock on here, particularly with the second leg in Leverkusen. Going to go back to that one as well. Feyenoord versus Inter Milan. Sorry, Feyenoord. Maybe I'm disrespecting the Dutch league a little bit here, but I think Inter Milan are going to have just a little bit too much. So, Barcelona Dortmund in the quarterfinals. Arsenal Real Madrid in the quarterfinals. PSG versus Liverpool. We've got to answer this one. I really like this PSG team this year. But Liverpool have just been so good. And Liverpool in the Champions League, with the second leg being at Anfield, that is going to be the deciding factor. Liverpool are going through to the quarterfinals. PSG going out of the competition. And Bayern Munich and Leverkusen. You guys can tell, right? I really want to put Leverkusen through here. And I'm going to do it. I think Bayer Leverkusen are going to knock out Bayern Munich. I can't go back on it. I said to myself, when I started recording this video and I found this Champions League bracket on the UEFA website, I was like, once you click, you ain't going back. So as you can see, we have now got the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Arsenal, Real Madrid, Liverpool, Aston Villa, Barcelona, Borussia Dortmund, Leverkusen, Inter Milan. And we're going to work from the bottom up because for whatever reason, I think this bottom half of the draw is it's not easy either, is it? When it gets to this point, like, I'm doing this all in one go, but we've got to go somewhere. We've got to get it done. So, Barcelona are going to beat Borussia Dortmund in the quarterfinals. That is the only one that I'm really sure about. Leverkusen versus Inter Milan. The second leg being in Milan. Inter Milan have got the pedigree at this level. Inter Milan are going to go through. So Barca-Inter is the first of the semi-finals. And when we go here to the top, right, I want to talk a little bit about Arsenal in the Champions League this season, because from what we can see here, I'm not entirely sure if this will be the way round that it goes. But if Real Madrid are at home in that second leg, they probably will be the favourites. But there's something about this Arsenal team that I'm just looking at and I'm thinking, well, I think they've got more chance of going further in a Champions League. And I thought this at the start of the season. I thought they had more chance of actually winning the Champions League than actually winning the Premier League this year. But that being said, Real Madrid, Mbappe has managed to find it. They've just got so many brilliant players, and you're always up against that pedigree when you play against Real Madrid in the Champions League. They know how to win this competition more so than any other club in the world. Liverpool and Aston Villa as well. With Aston Villa being at home in the second leg, you just know that if this is the fixture in the quarterfinal of the Champions League, both of these games, the atmospheres, both at Anfield and at Villa Park, are going to be absolutely insane. By that point as well, quarterfinal stages, will Liverpool pretty much have the league wrapped up? I mean, they've pretty much got it wrapped up already because of Arsenal's recent slips in the Premier League. But no FA Cup football for Liverpool either. No FA Cup football for Arsenal either. And do you know what? I'm finding this the hardest of the lot. Arsenal, Real Madrid, because I did think Arsenal were going to potentially win the Champions League at the start of this season. And I hate saying that as a flipping Chelsea fan, but I just do have a little feeling about Arsenal in this year's Champions League. I'm going to have to say Liverpool will knock out Aston Villa. But I'm going Arsenal. I'm going Arsenal. I could have literally sat here and debated this one forever, because to ever debate Real Madrid getting knocked out of the Champions League is always dangerous territory to be ice skating on or swimming in. You know what I mean? Real Madrid, they just do know what they're doing in this competition. But in my opinion, the Champions League semi-finals will be Arsenal-Liverpool and Barcelona-Inter Milan this season. An all-Premier League affair. Liverpool's route to the final, PSG, Aston Villa, Arsenal. Arsenal's route to the final, PSV, Real Madrid, Liverpool. You then got Barcelona, who have knocked out Benfica and Borussia Dortmund, and Inter Milan, who have knocked out Feyenoord and Bayer Leverkusen. So, Barcelona-Inter. I've got to pick Barcelona. And I just think Barcelona this season, they've been so blistering at times. Always very close to a little slippery slope, Barcelona. But I still think they're going to have enough in this year's Champions League competition. And then we go back to this one, mouthwatering. Arsenal versus Liverpool. And again, if it is exactly as this is, Liverpool being at home in that second leg would just be absolutely massive. And I think Liverpool would beat Arsenal. And I don't want to waste time because obviously a lot can happen between now and the end of the season. I wanted to do this video and just get it all over and done with in one. And then we'll talk about the Champions League results as and when they go through between now and the end of the season. But this is my predictions right now before the last 16 has started. So let's go back through it again. PSV, Arsenal, Real Madrid, Atletico. These are the games that are happening this week. PSG, Liverpool, Club Brugge, Aston Villa, Benfica, Barcelona, Dortmund, Lille, Bayern Munich, Leverkusen. I'll just say this now, right? And I mentioned this in the video yesterday where I was talking about, as football fans, we don't like to see change because it challenges what we're used to. I really like this new Champions League format. More matches, great quality. The extra playoff rounds are interesting. And when you get these kind of fixtures in the last 16, like there's some absolute corkers in there. Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, early in the competition. That's been a past final. PSG, Liverpool, massive game. And then you've got some of these ones here which do give the likes of a Club Brugge or an Aston Villa the chance to actually go deep in the competition. And I think Liverpool-Barcelona will be the final. And it's either Liverpool's 7th Champions League or this young Barcelona side with Hansi Flick are going to win the trophy. And to be honest, this is obviously a very difficult video because I'm predicting so far ahead into the future here. Could Arne Slot win the Champions League for and with Liverpool in the first season at the club? It would just be unbelievable. Imagine Slot comes into Liverpool, Premier League, Champions League double at minimum. Absolutely insane. But this year, I think Barcelona are winning the trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts on what's going to happen in this year's Champions League in the comments down below. Subscribe to more GBFC if you are new. And I'll speak to you after the games tomorrow.